My next guest is from Utica, Ohio. He enjoys pancakes on and off the field. Please welcome Nate Williams. This video is sponsored by Aztec Link and their official content branch, the We Believe Network. The We Believe Network is a subscription-based platform that allows viewers to get access to exclusive Aztec content. That money is then reinvested back into the program to create NIL opportunities for the athletes themselves. Enjoy the video.
Nice to see you, Kyle. How you doing, bud?
Coming on, big dog. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me.
Hey, man, I just want to start the podcast, let the people get to know a little bit about you off the field. You know, growing up in Utica, Ohio, I know it's a small town. What was your family like, and what was your experience like growing up there, man?
Yeah, my family was like an average-sized home. I had a loving mother and father. I had an older brother and a sister.
Okay, so you're the baby?
Yeah, I'm the baby. We lived in a very small town out in a rural community, a lot of farm and woodland. I grew up back in the sticks. It was definitely an outdoorsy type of life, definitely
Gotcha.
free feeling, like kind of peaceful, slow lifestyle, not a lot going on, not the upbeat, like new things coming up, kind of just keep to your own, kind of do whatever you want.
That's
kind of
cool.
lifestyle was nice. And I definitely had good role models in my life with my family. My brother was 10 years older than me. My sister is 12 years older than me.
Gotcha.
So I was definitely the major baby, surprise in the family. And I definitely had them to look up to.
That's really cool, man. I know we were talking earlier and you said that up until like senior year of high school, no internet, right? Is that true?
Yeah, definitely with living that kind of lifestyle. We'd tried like land cable with this big satellite dish. I remember growing up and looking out the window, and it was like huge, like, as big as a vehicle. And
where'd you park? Like in the front yard, or
it was like the little clear of trees, so it could like get up to the sky. It never worked. it just wouldn't happen. We didn't have the land cable that a lot of people have. So I never even really noticed it until I got older, and I was kind of like, the video games came along, and you wanted to play with friends. And Fortnite was a big thing when I was in high school, and it was just like I couldn't do that.
Who was the buddy's house, the Fortnite house?
Oh, I had a buddy named Josh, and we were close to video games. Like he was huge into it, and every time we would like have sleepovers or anything in middle school, we'd be like playing video games.
There you
go. It was the grind. I remember like Call of Duty was big. Really got into it, and then like after you had to start playing with friends and multiplayer, it was like I got to be done doing that. Like can't be doing that for much longer. But I think I'm honestly blessed to have that though, just because it makes you more creative in certain aspects instead of kind of like, I guess some people say the iPad kid nowadays.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like you had to get out and do stuff, kind of adventure. Cool. Like, I mean, how was it for you, like growing up?
Yeah, I mean, like when you were talking about going to your friend's house, I remember my parents had a rule that I couldn't play Call of Duty until a certain age. It was like 9 or 10 or something like that. So before I had like one buddy who had Call of Duty at his house, and I would like ride my bike over there when we would play and stuff. But yeah, man, definitely a different experience. But I feel like with the iPad kid thing, like our generation is some of the last that really had that at least partially separated for me. Like we still just go ride our bikes around and like go to the park and do all that.
We were like the last generation to really have that, availability. Like,
it is cool, man. So because of that, did you get into hunting and fishing and things like that early?
Yeah, I definitely did. And like the whole family, it was kind of like a big aspect of it. And it's probably my dad's biggest hobby. And what made him the happiest was just being outdoors, hunting, fishing. And it was one of the greatest things he's ever taught me.
That's cool.
Definitely gave me a lot of patience in my life doing those kind of things. But we had a lot of fun adventures. I remember my sister was very blessed athletically too, so she got to play college softball.
Okay, awesome. Where did she play at?
She played at an NII school, so smaller, but still, on to the next level.
Yeah, awesome.
And I remember just at a young age, like aspiring to do that. And when spring season would come around, they do spring training, as you may know. So she went on spring training when I was about 11, and my dad, was really getting me into hunting then. And he was like, "Oh, you want to go like in the bayou area, Everglades? Like, you want to go alligator hunting?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like, I'd never even seen one before. I'm from Ohio.
Your first hunting trip was alligator hunting?
It wasn't my first one, but it was like exotic.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. And so I was like, after that, I was thrilled, like locked into it. Wanted to do all kinds of hunting. Any time of the year, it it was more than just kind of like a hobby at that point. It was a lifestyle.
How'd the alligator hunt go, dude? I need some details on that.
It went good, man.
You get
yeah. My dad and I both got one. We went bow hunting. So
you were shooting bow and arrows at alligators?
Yeah.
And this is the kind of guy you want protecting you in the pocket.
Yeah. So it was around that time I really was getting into bow hunting.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like a more advanced way. In my perspective, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
You got to get closer, you know, a lot more patience, a lot more accuracy. Mm-hmm. It's just harder. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to get it down, and I was like really enthusiastic about it, really wanted to do it. And he was like, you know, we could do that. And he always wanted to do his whole life. Mm-hmm. So it was a new experience for the both of us.
Got it.
And we went down there, and he showed me kind of like how to do it first. We had a tour guide and everything, just like a real expedition, kind of walking through the marshes. And
you were walking through?
Yeah, like wild boars running around. Like it was awesome. Quite an experience. My mom had to come with us because she didn't trust us. She was like, I gotta keep my baby safe. Yeah. And then we get up to like a watering hole area, and they're like, we'll throw like bait out, like a fishing lure to like lure a gator in if it's there, out of the water. So I stood on the edge of the bank, and they were doing that. Instead of going for the fish lure that was like 20 feet down to the side of me, the gator just comes out of the water, like right in front of me.
At you?
Yeah, and it's just walking. It's slowly walking up. My dad was like, "Are you gonna shoot it? Like, shoot it." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's like 5 yards away from me."
Jeez.
So that was probably the most adrenaline rush I had as a 11-year-old. Was almost.
And you're 11 at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I remember coming back to school and telling all my buddies and stuff. I was so jacked up. No one believed me. Not a soul. They were like, "You didn't even go to Florida." I'm like, "I got pictures and everything." Like.
So it's 5 yards away, walking at you, and you sniped it.
Yeah, right in the eye.
Dang.
Yeah. My dad for about 2 years kept calling me One Eye Willie.
One Eye Willie.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And your dad got one too on that trip, you said?
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of my favorite pictures.
When you're walking through the marshes, like you said, can you see through the water, or are you just like not, like they could just be swimming around you?
Yeah. It was pretty much dry land. It was just kind of overgrown vegetation. Like as you picture a jungle in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. And then there was watering holes off to the sides and stuff. And you like walk over to them. Jeez, there's banks and you're looking at the bank, you're like, oh, maybe there's one over here. Let's throw some bait out and see if we get hooked or anything like that.
That's awesome, man. I did in I think 7th grade, I went out to the Manning Passing Academy in Louisiana with my dad.
That's cool.
Which was an awesome camp, by the way. But in the off time, we went on a alligator expedition or something. It wasn't a hunt, but we were just like going to see them.
Yeah.
And I think we found it on like Groupon or like Craigslist or something. Like very not a very unofficial.
Yeah. Sometimes those are the best
source. Yeah, dude. So we get there and it's just like some guy in his boat, and the boat's like super old looking, and it's like us and like 2 other families. So we get on, we start cruising through, and it's not a dam because it was coming down from the top, maybe a lock. I'm not sure what they're called.
Yeah.
But we start getting up to this narrow part in the river, and the wall's coming down. So we're like, oh, okay, we'll probably just wait. Dude just guns it, puts the boat full speed. And he's like, get down. So we all hit the ground and we're cruising under it, and he ducks and it takes the top of his chair off. Like he had like a plastic folding chair that's what he was driving. And it took his chair off. So he was just driving, standing up for the rest of it.
Oh,
then we get out to like open waters, and there's like oil rigs and like shipping containers and stuff also getting shipped. And we're going right at one, and he's just on his flip phone, like touching the numbers. We're like, dude, finally he looks up, swerves us. So we're like, all right, we're for sure gonna die, or like we're definitely not gonna see gators. Like this guy has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and we joy right at that point.
Yeah, that's what for sure. We're like, all right, if we can make it back alive, like that's a win. But we kept going, and we get to like a calm spot in the river, and he starts calling him by name. He's like, Lucy girl, Lucy, 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 Lucy.
He knew the spot.
Yeah, dude. And they start coming out. There was like 3 of them came right up to the boat, and he had like a long stick that he put a chicken on. And they went up and got it off the stick. It was crazy, dude.
That is crazy.
The Everglades are no joke.
Yeah, especially that was one of the first times I'd been down there in Florida and like seen alligator in general. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, and you're 11 sniping them. Have you been on any other bow hunts since then?
Down there, no.
Okay.
Probably the last time I actually went bow hunting was high school.
Okay.
You know, since entering college, it was just hard time frame and everything. I went a couple times when I was on winter break in college after football season. But I definitely, can't wait for later in life. It's kind of like golf,
Yeah,
older,
your retired sport is
it's definitely
hunting alligators with bows.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty sick, man. So going into high school, skipping forward a little bit, did you go to your home school or did you go to like a specific school, for football reasons, or how did that work out?
Yeah, I actually didn't go to my local school. Okay, is what we always called it. My brother and sister both did.
Okay,
and it was a good school. Mm-hmm. It was about the same size as what the private school I ended up going to kind of would have been. Mm-hmm. It was just lacked educational and sports, and it was just kind of like everyone who went there just kind of stayed around. Mm-hmm. They didn't really do a whole lot with their life. My parents were like, we want to give you like the best opportunity. And like, mm-hmm. I'd already made up my mind by that age, going into high school, I was like, I want to play at the next level. I want to play the sport I love the most as long as I can. Mm-hmm. And I had verbalized that pretty well to them. And I was very blessed they gave me that opportunity. And I always remember my sister was like, you're very spoiled for that. She always called me spoiled, but I definitely felt like I took the most of what I was given. Mm-hmm. And it definitely gave me better education, like more strict learning and kind of stressful, but also it was very good in sports. It was a state championship reputation, great tradition. It was kind of one of those schools that even though it was smaller, it was known for beating the big schools.
Nice.
And so it's just like, I want to be a part of that.
Gotcha. Did you play multiple sports when you were there or just football?
I tried out a bunch of different sports, and I was just like, I knew I was gifted in certain aspects, size and everything. Yeah. So I was trying all kinds of things. I wrestled for a little while.
Okay, nice.
Played basketball for a little while. Figured out can't really do both.
You go point guard, or what position you play basketball?
No, I was playing center, of course. Yeah, I was playing center. I tried point guard for a couple of times.
Did you actually?
Coach probably get mad at me, but
yeah.
I always love threes. It's probably my favorite part. Threes and fouling out.
You're like Jokic and fouling out.
Yeah, threes and fouling out. That's
4.5.
That's all I had. Yeah.
Oh man, so I always got in foul trouble, dude. Coach would have to tell me to settle down.
Yeah. Did you play basketball throughout high school?
Yeah, I played freshman through junior year, and then senior year I graduated a semester early so I could come here in the spring and start practicing with the team.
That's awesome.
My freshman year, when I was at Centennial, that team was crazy stacked. I think they won the state championship the next year. But I would have to guard Jalen Clark I would be on scout team, and he's like the dude at UCLA. Yeah. They had a whole bunch of studs. DJ Davis, Paris Dawson. I don't know if you guys know who they are, but Coach would tell me that like, hey, like they're gonna press him full court, like don't let him breathe the whole practice, like stay up on him. So I'm like boxing him out hard and like face guarding the whole time. He's like, get off me, freshman. Like, I'll beat you up.
As like a 14, 15-year-old kid, you're just like, wow.
Yeah, he's a grown man, like committed full ride wherever he wants to go. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, dude, I have to. But it was cool. I'm thankful for Coach Giles giving me that experience to practice with the varsity and just kind of see what that level of competition is all about. Because definitely it's cool whenever I watch him on TV and I'm like, oh man, that used to be me getting dunked on by him or whatever it was.
That's awesome. But I definitely love that you were able to do that through just having the want to go out and try something new.
Thanks, man.
That's definitely how I viewed it whenever I did sports.
Yeah,
it was just like, I might not be very good at it, but it's fun. It's active. You're with your boys.
With your boys, yeah. Whenever I went to Norco too, the Norco, like when I was there, was very football focused, and then basketball was just kind of like my fun sport. So like, I would put in extra time, extra training, all of that for football, and then once football season was done, it was like, all right, let's go play basketball for conditioning and for fun. But it was also like a great experience, like you said, man.
Yeah.
I want to ask about your, you probably played with a lot of different QBs in high school. Were you guys really close with your QB and your O-line unit? And like, what kind of things would you guys do as far as like team bonding goes?
Yeah, we definitely were super close. I think going into my senior year, we had 11 seniors. We probably had maybe 40 if we were lucky on the whole varsity.
40 seniors or 40 guys?
Football players.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so from freshman to senior, we probably had about 40 guys.
Okay.
Like 40 healthy guys, and we were trying to go win a state championship, so it's 15 games. It is a long season for those guys, and we'd played for 4 years, and after 4 years of like us 11 guys, we were very, very tight. And it was the same quarterback, and he was very athletic too, and played all kinds of sports, and so we were very, very close. And the quarterback would always like take us out to get wings, and we either like get wings at our like known spot, the wing spot, and we'd always be like O-line. Most of the time, turning the whole team.
Yeah, shout out to your spot. What was your guys' place?
We go to Roosters.
Roosters
was like pregame, postgame, like
Pop
anytime.
There you go.
you could catch the NC boys being there. And like a lot of time we'd be like at somebody's house. Parents would throw on little house parties, and like it would just get out of control. We'd be like starting to play like a dunk contest in the driveway. Like it was fun. But we definitely did a bunch of hangouts. But for me, probably the biggest bonding experience that we did for a while was during the summertime. We did like the workouts and stuff, like most places did. But for the O-line, we would get together and we would also do like the hunting and fishing and like during daytime summer stuff, hang out, and that kind of turned itself into like jobs. Mm-hmm. We ended up working like farm hands, and we did a bunch of hay baling during the summertime, which was a big thing around where we were. Mm-hmm. And even though some of the guys that were in my room were like city life, they didn't really know like how to get into that. They just wanted to be around. Yeah. They just wanted to like enjoy the experience, and like we took care of them. We were like, yeah, you'll be safe, like you'll have fun. Yeah. And you'll make some money. So just that enough, they were like down to do it, and we would like drive them out with us out into the farmland, go hay baling, and they would have the best time of their life. And we would just be like messing around and having fun, and that was definitely some tight bonding there.
Nice. What's the average day of hay baling look like in the summer?
It's a long day. It's a long, hot day. Yeah. Yeah. You drive around on your tractor, mm-hmm. and we were all square baling, so the tractor drives super slow with the wagon behind it. It wraps it up in twine, and it shoots it out the back, and you have someone on the wagon. So it's like a balancing act. Okay. Riding the wagon, and you got to stack them up neatly. Mm-hmm. So you kind of like 3-1, 3-1, kind of like Lincoln logs. Yeah. You can picture, and you got to stack them up neatly so you can get the most on there.
How many guys per tractor wagon? Is it 2?
You could do 2. We normally did like 2, and then that wagon goes all the way back towards where the barn is, and then all the hay lofts are up pretty high. Like at least second story. Mm-hmm. So there's usually an elevator we would use going up. So there'd be a guy by the elevator, mm-hmm. and then he would take everything off the wagon while the tractor leaves again to get another load. Mm-hmm. And he puts it on the elevator, and the elevator shoots it up. And you have about 4 guys up in this loft where they stack them all up neatly so you can get as much hay in there as possible. Make little staircases. And that's where we would put like the guys that didn't really know what was going on, but like they wanted to be a part of it. Yeah. And it honestly is probably the worst job because there's like no airflow in those rooms. So it would just get so steamy in there, and it was fun though. They'd be like, "Oh, dude, look at my staircase I made." I'm like, "It's cool."
Architects.
Yeah, I like it.
It's cute, bro. When you say elevator, is it like one person pulling it up with a rope? I can't imagine it's a press the button and go up.
No, it actually is. Really a little engine on the side of it, and it's like a conveyor belt.
Got it.
And it has little hooks that stick up. You just stick it
on the hooks.
Yeah, and it would just ride itself up.
Okay, that's pretty sweet, man. Yeah, it was a kind of good segue into. I want to ask. I know you had some side hustles and some construction work that you did in high school, bro. I just want to ask you a little bit about your side hustle life.
Yeah, that kind of did lead into just during the free time I had, want to kind of make an extra buck or two. Yeah. And I knew some people, and one of my close family friends was starting his own construction / it was more lawn care. Okay. It's kind of what it was at the time, but he had the equipment availability to do some work. Mm-hmm. He just needed some hands. Yeah. That's the biggest thing you need. So I was like, 16, 17 at the time I could drive. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a hand.
There you go.
And it was fun. It was definitely made my summer interesting. It gave me a little bit of change in my pocket to have some fun too. But it definitely taught me some lessons. And honestly, probably the biggest one was don't be afraid to fail. Nice. Like just if you don't know something, ask. That's another big one. Like if you're kind of like timid around certain things, then it's not going to work out. And honestly, it'll probably work worse than if you're just like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to use this. Like, I remember the first time he like put me in an excavator. It was like, all right, just take it slow. Like, I just need you to dig this hole. Like, I'm in another one. And I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
So he didn't give you any training. He just like, hey, hop in.
Well, he did.
A little bit. Yeah. It was a crash course.
And then he was literally like, hey, you know how to use this, right? Like, you're good? And I'm like, yeah. Of course. Yeah. I just didn't want to like say no and like kind of like not do it. I wanted to help out. Really, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. So honestly, I should have just been like, can you like give you some real training here?
Before I start operating this.
Yeah, I'm like nervous as all can be. I'm like, I don't want to mess this up. I'm like, am I doing this right? So it was at a young age. It was definitely a big learning lesson of just like ask. Mm-hmm. It's okay to like not know something or need help or just be like, hey, can you show me how to do this? And a lot of time they will.
Yeah.
They'll like point you in the right direction. But if you don't, then you're going to be wrong.
Nice. I know you had that business, and then I remember you had told me a little bit about another business you started as well.
Yeah. That around the same time, probably a little bit earlier than that, I was training off seasons and stuff when my parents were really serious. Like, hey, if you want to do this, you want to be athletic and play at the next level, you're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah.
And they took their time to take me to a trainer, and it was one of my early coaches in like middle school. And so we had a close relationship going into high school, and I trained with him during the off season probably like 4 times a week. So it was always in there, and he was recently graduated out of college trying to find his own career path. So at that same time, he was like, I kind of want to open up my own gym and like kind of do my own training for everyone, and especially athletes and stuff. So I definitely helped with that and kind of steering him into the right, program. And I remember when he like set up his own little place in a theater. Yeah. Like it was like the coolest thing ever.
So it was like a movie theater that he had bought?
It was an old movie theater, and it had like everything torn out of it. Okay. So like the big high ceilings, the open rooms. And we set up a basketball court in the back, a turf room in the middle.
And you helped them build all that?
Yeah, I remember moving all the stuff in that summer, and we had some weightlifting stuff in my garage that my dad used to use, and we weren't using it anymore. And he was kind of trying to clear out the garage for a sports car you had always dreamt of having.
There we go.
So it was like, here, you guys can have this like weightlifting equipment, and like we'll come here and use it still. So we're still getting use out of it, but it was definitely a good getting started kind of thing. And it definitely opened up my eyes to what hard work can bring. Yeah. And like, the little details of like painting stuff and like kind of just what goes into starting something. Yeah. Starting something you care about and all the work that it takes. And then moving along a little bit to that, like in my high school years, I really saw the inside of like how to like form a business and, get people to come enjoy your business and just basically communication is key in all aspects. And I really enjoyed being a part of that. And I still a great friend of mine to this day. Like I go home and we like catch up, maybe have beer, just chat and be like, oh, how life's going. And even though he doesn't really do that anymore, doesn't really do the training and stuff, we still definitely chat about how interesting that was in our life.
Yeah, those bonds of you took a torn down movie theater and built it up into a fully functioning business. Like that's a bond for life with people.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was just kind of like an idea thing we talked about. And it was like, he's like, yeah, dude, I'm going to do it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, actually. And it turned out to be amazing.
And then you also did the meal prep business, right?
Yeah. When I was in high school, he wanted to start doing meal preps too.
So it's the same business partner,
same guy. Yeah, okay. He was doing the gym. I remember coming in one day and I was talking to him like, I just got out of school, like I'm so hungry, but like you have like McDonald's across the street and that's it. Like, I'm like, I don't want to go to McDonald's. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I've been looking in these meal preps and stuff. And he was like, I was doing that when I was in college. He played college ball too. Okay. So we were talking about that. He's like, you need to put the right stuff in. That was like my first intro into like dieting, meal prepping, and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of showed me like the right stuff to eat, how to cook it, how to meal prep. And when he started doing that, he was like, I'm gonna turn this into my own business. He started selling his own meal prep packs, and that led into one day I just show up. I'm like, hey, there's this like old like food truck trailer sitting outside, and it's unpainted and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna turn it into like this meal prep thing, and we're like gonna serve it out of it. I'm like, what? Like, are you sure? And it was awesome. It didn't last super long. It didn't really kind of take off the same way the gym did, but I think more it didn't really take off because it was kind of hard to find people to work it, kind of thing. But it was awesome. It was a great idea. People were looking for healthy substitutes, quick on the go, and like with a food truck, you can take it places. So there was a college campus kind of like over by the city. You just take it over there, and there's college students looking for that, all the time.
Were you cooking the meal preps, or what was your role?
Quite a couple times at events and stuff. I would go over to help him out.
Chefing up.
Yeah, he was like, I need you to cook some chicken real quick. We had like chicken, potatoes, pasta, and it was nice. And probably my favorite thing of all was like on a normal day or a slow day, all people wanted was like protein shakes. Yeah. They came over, I'm like, oh, I can whip you up a protein shake.
So you're a protein shake specialist now.
Oh yeah, the powder, the ice, milk, syrup. It was nice.
There you go. So was there like a grill and things like that in the food truck, or would you make them before? Okay, so you were making it on site.
Yeah, they were like fresh food, and then there was the ability to buy like the meal prep stuff that you could like take home and like heat up yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. I kind of wish it like kind of kept going the way it were, but it did take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like picking which side of the business did you want to really go.
Yeah, so you're helping with the gym, help with the meal prep, and you're also, what you said, a junior or senior in high school at this time?
Yeah.
Trying to get recruited?
I was like 16, 17. I was just getting around driving age, and I was definitely trying to just figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, just trying everything. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now your senior year of football you're playing. Yeah. Did you go to Akron right after senior year? What was that recruiting process like?
Yeah. I would say it's really started my junior year. End of junior year, I had like the size and the metrics and everything. Mm-hmm. And so I had some interest. A lot of the interest came from kind of smaller schools, a lot of FCS that like wanted recruiting visits and everything. But I had like camp offers. You know, we definitely went to some camps in high school, and I definitely was a lot different for quarterbacks where you could maybe get one throw in because there's like 20,000 quarterbacks that show up. I'd always go to the Ohio State one every summer because it'd be the coolest thing ever. And you'd see like so many kids there. And you're like, wow, really not the biggest kid out there in the world. But for Akron, it was that camp just my junior year. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to go. And I went and just balled out. And afterwards, they gave me an offer. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want to come back and visit again. You know, if this is seriously going to be the place I want to go. And I did. And it was just kind of like said and done. So going into my senior year of football that season, I actually was already committed verbally.
Okay.
And I've kind of been told by like the people I was like talking to that had already been through college and everything that was kind of the way to go, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to be done and over with. It was definitely stressful, the whole process. And I was like, I just want to be done. I don't really want to worry about it anymore. Like I'm happy with that. You know, it's FBS, you know, looked up to it kind of program.
I always recommend too, like if parents of quarterbacks or whatever ask me like what the best camps are to go to, is anything on a college campus, like you said, because you're in front of the real staff. Like, I know we're hosting some in the summer. I went to a bunch whenever I was growing up, but like some of like the recruitment camps that are just run by like those services, sometimes I feel like aren't as good because you're not actually getting in front of those college coaches. So, but like you said, you're on campus in front of them. You ball out, they see you, lock it up just like that. That's awesome, man. So Akron, how far is that from? Is that your hometown school? Like, did you grow up watching them? Or
it wasn't my hometown school. Definitely like the hometown school everyone's a fan of was Ohio State.
Okay, yeah.
So it was by Columbus. Akron was only about 2 hours away though.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, so it was definitely a school like knew about, and probably the biggest reason why we knew about them, we had been up there, is Firestone's up there. And the tire company, but they also had the Firestone tournament, and they have a golf course. They have a softball park.
What's the Firestone tournament?
It's a PGA, senior PGA. Okay. They have a really nice golf course up there, and for softball they do like the state championships and stuff up there.
So would your sister be up there playing?
Yeah. So like growing up, I'd always be up there. It's really cool softball park. Nice. Like I was like, this is the coolest ballpark ever, and be up there watching my sister play softball. So like I knew about it and everything, and my sister actually kind of wanted to go to Kent State to play softball, and Kent State and Akron are right next to each other. So like 20 minutes apart. So like I knew the area, and it definitely felt like home. You know, I wasn't too far away. I knew a lot of people that were going up there, so it's just it was not too big of a step outside of my comfort zone.
So you said, I know Kent State's right there. That was your rival, right? Yeah. Do you guys have a name for like your game?
Yeah, the wagon wheel game, or the team down the road.
Okay, so you wouldn't actually call them by their name.
No, we wouldn't actually call them by their name.
I like it. So you played against our current staff there, right?
Yeah, Coach Lewis.
Yeah, Coach Lewis was he the head coach at that time, right?
He was. Yeah, he was the head coach at the time that I was at Akron. So I played him 3 times.
Nice.
From 20, 21, and 22.
Did you guys get him?
Nope, he always kicked my butt.
Yeah. He got you 3. He swept you?
Yeah, he swept me.
Oh man.
And I give him a lot of respect. I learned a lot about him through those games, and his kind of mindset and competitiveness, and just I remember in 21 they had like 69 points up on us. They were up on us a lot. It was kind of like a shootout that they took it away.
Yeah,
and it was like late in the fourth quarter, and they went for 2 to go up 70, like 71. I'm like, wow, like this guy means business.
It's the rivalry game. There's no
yeah. So it's definitely a great coach, and brought the right people around him, and I could see that where kind of like in the area where I was at and struggled for the time that I was at Akron to get wins. It was just kind of like who you're going to bring around you to support you, to push you.
Yeah.
it really makes a big difference.
So playing against him, those times, obviously he got to see you compete and watch it back on film and all that. Was that a big part of your recruiting coming to San Diego State with him?
I'm not really sure. I mean, it could have been. I think another big aspect of it was having Sobel, our head strength guy, at Akron with me last year.
Got it.
After Lewis had left to go to Colorado. Sobel came in, just was like the man. Like
he's the man.
Yeah, he had definitely changed my vision of like strength in the off season and the process it takes from like day one. Mm-hmm. You got to get better each day, and the grind. It really made me have new appreciation for that.
Yeah.
And
he just brings it consistently.
Always has that energy. And
I'll see him after practice.
I love it.
All fired up.
The Ric Flair it gets me going.
Yeah, it has to. Nice, man. So now you're obviously here at San Diego State. Has it been tough? I know you've been 2 hours away from home most of your career. What was it like adjusting to just being away from home?
It definitely was hard. And the biggest aspect I picked up on that I didn't realize was going to happen was just kind of like the relaxation of life. When you're close to home, you kind of know everything, what to do, you know what to expect. And that kind of overall just makes life a little bit slower. Like if you were back home in your hometown, you're like, oh, I know where to go.
Yeah.
Like you're driving down the streets, you never have to pull up your navigation or anything. Like you'll never get lost type of feeling. And that's how I was back in Akron. I would never get lost. Always knew where I was. And you knew a bunch of people. So it was like if you need something done or you need to hang out or anything, like need someone to talk to, like you knew where to go. And so when coming here, that was a big change.
That was the biggest adjustment.
Yeah. Like the first day I was here, I was kind of like, I woke up, I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like I had no idea kind of where to go, what was the right step. And I was like, well, first I need to eat.
you broke it down to the basics.
And I was like, all right, so I need to go get food. And I was like, where's the closest grocery store?
Yeah, dang it. I didn't even think about how much of an adjustment that is.
And I ended up getting lost. I remember I was
where'd you go?
Went to Walmart.
All right.
And I was like, all right, but I'm like hungry. So I was like, I'm gonna go stop by like Wendy's, pick up breakfast food. I love Wendy's like breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
You should try them if you haven't had them. So good.
Put me on.
And then I was like coming back and I just wasn't really paying attention to navigation. And I didn't realize in California there's so many like medians. They don't have that in Ohio. Like you don't have to take U-turns in Ohio.
Yeah.
Not at all, ever. You can pull out and take a left whenever you want and get back the same direction you were coming from.
Gotcha. Yeah. If you're on the freeway, there's no flipping around.
Yeah. So I was like, missed my exit, was going down. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on this for a while. Like I didn't know what the streets were, and I was just like, it took me about 10 minutes outside my normal route to get back. And I was like, it's whatever,
That's
go
cool,
sightseeing.
Yeah. Go check out the area.
Yeah.
I know we were talking earlier about some new food spots we gotta check out, and I know you cooked for a while for the food truck.
Yeah,
I'm working on setting up a little cook-off.
Oh, I'm down.
Interested?
So down.
All right, Christian Jones has been talking a lot of smack about his steak making abilities.
No, I can make a mean steak.
You're up for the challenge?
Oh, I'm so up for the challenge.
All right, we'll have to make that happen then.
I mean, like, what are we talking? We're gonna do it on a grill, sear it.
I'm thinking chef's choice.
Chef's choice. Just whip up our own.
Bottom
steak.
line, steak versus steak.
Yeah, probably the best steak I ever made was right before I left for San Diego. My girl and I were chefing up a nice steak. It was the last dinner together.
Nice,
man. And we had a steak at a restaurant that had red wine marinade over it.
Okay.
So it was after you cook the steak, you put the red wine and some broth in the sear pan, and you cook out the alcohol in it, and kind of turns almost like a gravy.
Okay.
But it's like sweet, and we put that over the steak that we had made.
Insane.
So good. And I do like wine myself, but that made it so good. Like, the best steak I've ever had.
Oh shoot! Well, Christian might have some competition there.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And anytime you're talking food, I'm down.
Nice.
So down.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man. Last thing I just want to ask if you got any words of wisdom for young O linemen who are gonna be watching this that want to follow in your footsteps, man. What do you got for them?
Definitely for the young guys. I mean, work hard every day. Don't be afraid to tell people of your dreams. If it's something you want to do and you're passionate about, like, definitely tell people about it, because you never know who can help you, and you'll make some really good friends along the way.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd say any young quarterbacks out there, make sure you take care of your O lineman, man.
For sure.
I know in high school we would have the team meals with all the O-linemen at my house, and two of my buddies, shout out to Daniel Gonzo and Nephi. Actually, my mom had little pictures, like my school picture that they send out, and they keep it in their hat, like inside.
That's close. That's
and then
tight.
One of them had it in his car whenever you get in. So like those bonds you make with your boys last forever, like you were saying. So young quarterbacks out there, make sure you take care of your O-line, man. All right, bro. That's it for today. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate having me, man.
Thanks for tuning in. Want to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors, Aztec Link and the We Believe Network. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and check out the link in the description to get started today.